What if the island is alive and watching your every move? The jungle beyond the labyrinth felt different, as though Marco's sacrifice had shifted the island's very nature. The air was heavier, the light filtering through the canopy dimmer, and the once vivid plants now seemed subdued, their colors muted. Ava and I walked in silence, the weight of what had happened in the labyrinth pressing down on us. The whispers had faded, but the island's presence was stronger than ever, like an invisible force pressing against my mind. What if it's aware of us? Ava said suddenly, breaking the silence. I glanced at her. The island? She nodded, clutching the satchel tightly. Everything about this place feels intentional. The traps, the tests, even the whispers. It's like it's not just reacting to us, it's watching us. The thought sent a chill down my spine. We stumbled upon the camp near midday. It was nestled in a small clearing, its remnants hidden beneath overgrown vines and moss. Tattered tents leaned at awkward angles, and rusted equipment lay scattered across the ground. Looks like someone else tried to do what we're doing, Ava said, crouching beside a collapsed tent. Or they were forced to stop, I muttered, scanning the area for signs of danger. Inside one of the tents, Ava found a journal. Its pages were yellowed and brittle, the writing faded but still legible. This belonged to someone named Dr. Elias Grant, she said, flipping through the entries. The journal described an expedition similar to ours, but as I read further, the tone shifted. The island is not what it seems. It manipulates, preys on our fears and desires. Each step forward feels like sinking deeper into its grasp. We are no longer in control. I set the journal down, my unease growing. They didn't make it off the island. No, Ava said, her voice barely above a whisper. But they might have left something behind that we can use. As we searched the camp, the jungle began to change. The trees seemed to lean closer, their branches twisting into shapes that resembled grasping hands. The ground beneath our feet shifted subtly, as though trying to guide or trap us. I don't like this, I said, gripping the shard blade tightly. Neither do I, Ava admitted, her eyes darting nervously between the trees. The whispers returned, faint but insistent. You are seen, you are judged. Ava froze, her hand on the journal. Did you hear that? I nodded. We need to move. The path ahead twisted and turned, the jungle shifting like a maze. Trees that had been distant moments ago now loomed directly in our path, their roots curling upward to block the way. It's like the island doesn't want us to leave, Ava said, her voice trembling. Or it's trying to push us somewhere, I replied. We came across a stream running red with an unknown liquid. The sight stopped us in our tracks, and the whispers grew louder. Choose the water, or choose the fire? I looked around, my pulse racing. What does it mean? Ava pointed to a second path branching off to our right. Smoke rose in thin tendrils from the underbrush, the faint smell of burning wood drifting through the air. We have to decide, she said. We chose the path of the fire. The smoke thickened as we moved, stinging our eyes and filling our lungs. The ground grew hot, and the trees around us appeared scorched, their branches reaching out like charred fingers. The whispers changed again, their tone more urgent. Fire cleanses, fire consumes. Are you ready to burn away your truth? What does it want from us? Ava asked, her voice cracking. To test us, I said grimly. The path ended abruptly at a clearing filled with pillars of flame. Between the pillars stood a stone pedestal, its surface etched with glowing symbols. Ava approached cautiously, her hand resting on the satchel. It's another test, she said, but this one, it's different. How? I asked. She pointed to the symbols. They're asking for an offering. Something valuable, something tied to who we are. I frowned. Like what? I don't know, she admitted, but if we don't give it what it wants, I don't think we'll get out of here. Ava was the first to step forward. She pulled a small, leather-bound notebook from her bag, a collection of sketches and notes she'd kept since she was a child. This is everything I've ever worked toward, she said, placing it on the pedestal. The flames around us roared, and the notebook vanished in a flash of light. "It accepted it," Ava said, her voice trembling. I stepped forward, my heart pounding. What could I offer? What did the island value enough to let us pass? The shard blade hummed faintly in my hand, and I hesitated. "Give yourself, or give your will." I placed the blade on the pedestal, half expecting it to be rejected. But the flames surged again, and the blade disappeared. The path ahead opened, the flames extinguishing as if they had never been. As we continued, the tension between us grew. "You didn't hesitate to give that blade up," Ava said suddenly. "Why?" "Because it was the right thing to do," I said. "Or because you're hiding something," she shot back. I stopped walking, turning to face her. "What are you talking about?" She crossed her arms, her gaze hard. "The whispers. They're testing all of us, and I think they know something about you that I don't." I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay calm. "I've been honest with you this whole time, Ava. If you don't trust me, that's on you." Her expression softened, but the doubt lingered in her eyes. That night, as we set up camp, the jungle seemed to come alive around us. The trees swayed without wind, their branches creaking like voices speaking just out of reach. "I think you were right," I said quietly. Ava looked up from her journal. "About what?" "The island," I said. "It's alive, and it's not just testing us, it's learning from us." Her brow furrowed. "Learning what?" I shook my head. "I don't know, but whatever it is, I think we're running out of time." That night, the island showed me something I couldn't explain. In my dreams, I stood before a massive structure buried in the earth. Its surface pulsed with an eerie light, and at its center was an orb of pure energy. The whispers returned, louder than ever. "The heart of the island. The answer lies within. But beware. Truth demands sacrifice." I woke with a start. The image of the orb burned into my mind. The following morning, I told Ava about the vision. She listened intently, her expression unreadable. "It's the artifact," she said finally. "It has to be. And if the island is guiding us toward it, then it's not done testing us," I finished. We packed our things and set off again, the whispers growing louder with each step. The island was leading us somewhere, and I had the sinking feeling that when we arrived, there would be no turning back.